Guys, it's Candace. Welcome back. I thought I'd do a hopefully semi-short little video. My scrap bin overfloweth, so I want to make some little scrap journal cards that we can use for bases to decorate on. But I wanted to show you my finished things. Since this aired, this is the little birdie that I did with the getting more out of your labels. So I went and sewed around it, put some sequins on here, and of course my phone holder thing is right there where I can see. But I put some shimmer pen on the little birdie so he can shimmer. Now since it is, excuse me, 6 inches wide, I'm thinking what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use it as a journal card this way and make a pocket like this eventually so the flower sticks out and then we'll have a pocket down the road. So that's that one. And then here is my peacock. So I sewed around it, put lace. Oops, it's kind of long. Let me get up here a little closer. Put lace on the bottom, sewed around it. Then I put these butterflies. We had the butterflies, but I put, oh gosh, wacko. I put shimmer on all the butterflies. Oh, there you go. You can see them. And then I put sequins on him, just a few. And then I went and put some really pretty small sequins in his tail. So, yeah, that's going to be my belly jam, belly band in an upcoming journal. So, I was going to do something, I kind of started it, but it's drying because I stamped on vellum and didn't use StazOn, which, you know, dries. So I'm waiting on an ink to dry. So that's what this little pile of goodness is over here. But I just thought we would take some journal cards and I would try to use up some of this scrap that I've got going on over here because it's just gotten a little out of control. We'll see, like this one could almost be a whole journal card by itself. So, well, let's just glue it down and make it so, number one. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way so I can work. Oh, yeah, I was going to use my little heat gun to dry them, but, well, I don't know what I did with it. So anyway, plan B. I thought I would just take a little bit and try to do... Nope. Let me just trim this off. That is not going to work. Alright, and then these things are 5 inches. So let me trim this off. I've got a hot mess to the right of me. But like I said, as soon as that thing dries, then we will get crafting on that one. Alright, so... Oop, it goes this way, you know. Most people read right side up. But I guess I'll read right side down. I'm still going to have to trim it. But I'm thinking, you know, we're not supposed to be making scraps. By gosh. Isn't that the name of the use your scrap up game? You use some and you make some. Sometimes you use some and make more than you use some. But let's tear this off. And we're going to put that on that side. Yeah, I got some more scraps. Alright. Let me see. Oh my gosh. As y'all can hear, I'm making a mess over here. Alright. Let's just tear this down. Put it on here. Oh, so I hope you guys have been having a good day. And this isn't going to be straight, but what else is new? Let's just tear it right here. Making scraps. No, we're supposed to be using scraps, not making them. Oh. Kim, my daughter, called, and she's like, well, Mom, I got notifications whenever you post videos. She says, you're posting too many videos. I said, I know. I said, I got to cut back. I said, I got to try to get, you know, one per day for just a week maybe. I don't know, maybe 2. I don't know, because I got to get caught up. So, yeah, some of y'all might get a break from me, because I might just have to do it, because I got to get some things done. I mean, obviously, I am just a poor manager of time. Oh, because it just takes too long to... Oh, gosh, I lost my regular brown ink, because I put it over here. It just really does take a long time to find your stuff, because it's not in one spot. Because you want to have something decent. And you want to be, like, running everywhere, because you don't know where to find it in the first place. It's not like I know where it is. Alright, so that's kind of going to do right there. So let me see what else we got in here. That's some more rows. We want the same thing. But this is a pretty scrap. I don't know, that might be too much pink on pink on pink. Okay, see? Oh, we can use some of this, some of our oops print. So let's tear this down so we can use some of our oops, our misprint. Like I say, I don't know how I misprint some stuff, and I can't tell you all the junk I throw in the trash can. And then the other day I thought, well, that's just dumb. You know, let's try to do something with it. So here we are with use your misprints. Don't throw them in trash. And yeah, so, you know, some of your little people's got watermarks on there. Well, it just looks like it's more decoration. Nobody knows unless you tell them. Okay, so let me see, do I have some, we got some book page here. Oh, can't use that one. Okay, we can use that side. You know, I gotta watch these, these words. Alright, let's throw some of this down there. I know. Why don't she use a glue book? Because I don't have room on my little space to use a glue book. I just try not to get the glue everywhere. But, you know, it happens. It goes everywhere sometimes, too. Alright, so we'll just put this down here. Alright, what else we got over here? Got some of this blue. Just tear a piece of this off. Put that little bit back in there. Alright, I know you're not supposed to, like, you know, collage and think, but guys, I know you don't know me long, but you should know I don't work that way. Alright, but I am going to go ahead, I am going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm committing. I'm gluing this one on here. And then whatever happens, just gets layered on top of it. I mean, that's why, you know, when they do those big master board pages, you know, you just keep on. But I thought I would do a smaller version, which I'm sure takes more time than the other ones. But, you know, heck, let's not do anything easy. No. All right, so we'll put this up here. Oh, and my daughter said they went to get a carpet square from Home Depot the other day because my granddaughter, Emily, my oldest one, I should say, she is gonna start filming her hermit crab. His name is Gary. And so I don't know what the heck she's gonna do, but if I find out she has a little channel or something, I'll let y'all know. But I just can't imagine her and Gary. I call him Hermie. She doesn't like it because his name's Gary, but I like Hermie better. Hey, Hermie. Your great Mimi loves you. Oh. But yeah, I mean, for her Christmas wish list, because I always make them give me like a list of 10, 15 things that they're kind of wanting, so I can, you know, they have an option of getting one big, you know, a gift card, or they can get some little things that they want. So, you know, she says, well, what about Gary? I said, what about Gary? She said, well, Mimi, you have to buy Gary something. I'm like, oh, no, Mimi doesn't. But, yeah, so Mimi bought Gary stuff. So, oh, you know, actually those go that way, but does it matter? No, we might just put that up here. We'll wait till then. So, yeah, sure enough, I had to go on stinking, ooh, Amazon and buy Gary some wish lists that Gary wanted. Gary needed a heating pad for his little aqua tank that he lives in, and then some kind of dried shrimp and worms and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's what Gary got for Christmas. Oh my gosh. And so now she's got this hamster named Sugar. Well, this is Sugar 2. Something horrible happened to Sugar 1. We won't go into that story because it was not a good thing. And it was all her brother's fault. But anyway, let's just say they have 2 dogs and 2 inside cats. And yep, use your imagination on that one. Poor little Sugar. But anyway, she got another one, so she got a Sugar 2. And what's so weird is that when I was younger, my first little animal that I got to have, you know, we always had dogs, but I always wanted a hamster, so I got a little hamster, and I named him Sugar Bear. So, and she had no idea that I had a little hamster named Sugar Bear, but she sure named her little creature Sugar, and I thought that was kind of cute. So, alright, I got this little piece here. I didn't even wear a watch, which doesn't matter because I don't watch it anyway. And you know that stupid phone of mine, that time is in the wrong side again, underneath my doggone holder. That thing is just messing with me, y'all. Oh. Yeah, and I start my babysitting for the dogs tomorrow. Oh. Wish me luck, wish me luck. Alright, let's glue this on here. We'll stick the other one down. You know, one day I'm going to do a challenge to myself that says, whatever you pull out, you must use. You can't think about it. You just pull it, glue it, and stick it. I know other people have tried that. It doesn't work. But one day, I swear I'm going to do it. Oh, okay, I like this. Just rip some of this off. You know, some of this stuff from Arnie Mays. See, the whole trick is you're supposed to be using bigger scraps, because now this is kind of, these little ones are classifying in my little mini collage things that I do. But I'm supposed to be doing big ones. I'm not supposed to grab the little ones, even though they're in my scrap bin. But see, that's why, you know, Gail separates hers into itty bitties, small, and regular scraps. Well, I guess I'll need to do mine itty bitties and regulars. Yeah, I know, I'm saving that one because I like it and I'm kind of wanting it to be on top. Ooh, here's some pretty floral. This is from one of my porch prints that I did with my Bible journals. Let's tear these off. Too much white on the end. Ink it up and we might be covered a whole large index card. Let's see what we got. Okay, just gonna glue this on here. But yeah, so I guess Gary the hermit crab is she's gonna try to make him famous. I don't know. I hope Gary doesn't turn out to be famous like Sugar. Infamous. Alright, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Ooh, this is too much for me. See, that's because I didn't ink around there first. Alright, let me just go ahead and ink real quick, because I'm getting too much white space. And it's bothering me. Oop, let me stay in the camera so I don't bother you. Ah. Alright, yep, me and my heavy inking. Alright, let's go ahead and stick this down. Yeah, once again, was supposed to have rain today, but it didn't. You know, I was talking to my daughter. Oh, it's pouring down rain down there in Biloxi, Mississippi. Yep, just a raining away. Yeah, if y'all wonder where I get this weird little twang and stuff from, I am definitely a hot mess mix of the South, way down south, not the Southern people, because there's some serious twang. And you can kind of tell when people from Georgia, from northern Mississippi, they definitely have that twang, really, really deep twang. But I kind of grew up in Biloxi, Mississippi. I think I went down there when I was 4. My grandparents transferred down from New York, and he opened a convenience store. It was one of the first ones, way back in the beginning of time, in their little subdivision that they lived in. And then I pretty much have lived from on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi down to Slidell, Louisiana, which is right outside of New Orleans. My husband's from New Orleans. Baton Rouge, all the way to Austin, Texas. When I was younger, we lived there for quite a bit of time, and then moved, you know, back and forth. You know, when your parents get divorced, you kind of go wherever you go. And then my dad always stayed. My dad stayed in Austin, and then him and my stepmom moved to Houston. And then when my husband got his contract was up with the place that he worked at in Slidell, we moved to Houston. So I have probably spent a third in, you know, Mississippi Gulf Coast, a third Louisiana Gulf Coast, and a third in between Austin and Houston. So I don't know. I definitely have an accent. I'd like to think I don't, but boy, when I listen to myself back, oh, I hear it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to have that accent. Oh, well. Too bad, so sad. You got one. All right. And then I'll probably put some coffee dye paper on the back. And then that will give us a collage card for one of our upcoming journals that I'm going to be doing. So let me put this underneath the block, which my block are full. Right. And then I was going to do, let's see if we can do another one. All right, we got this little bitty piece left. We got this one. We're not putting it back in the bin. We're going to just, oops, we're going to tear it off, and we're going to use what we can and only throw this little bit in the trash. So let's tear it up. This is from Tailor Made Journals, her antique shabby chic wallpaper. Those are really pretty. She's got some really pretty colors in there. They're not, you know, too bright, too bold, you know, really subtle. She does have some bright and bold ones on there, but, you know, I kind of gravitate to these subtle ones, apparently. All right. Let me add this to my piles. What's the point of cleaning it if you're going to mess it right back up? All right, so maybe we'll like put this in here and we'll go around it. Let's try that. We'll put this one in the middle and then grab some pieces to collage around it. Yeah, my grandparents had a rough life. My grandfather was one of 9 kids. I guess this is the way this goes. I guess it doesn't matter. And his mom decided one day she didn't want him. And he was 2 years old. And she went and dropped him off at the boys' orphanage up in New York. Because that's where my grandparents are from, is up in the New York area. And so yeah, he grew up in the orphanage until he was 14, because back then in those days, when you're 14, you're grown. And so at 14, they gave him literally his little suitcase with the extra change of clothes. He had the suit that they gave him when he left, 1 pair of shoes and a hat, and nothing else. And you supposedly earned money all your life while you were in there, because, you know, unfortunately, you're little wards of the state, and they, you know, do whatever. And so you have all your jobs and chores that you have to do. And so he thought he was going to have some money when he got old and had to leave. Because, I mean, you can't stay there. You've got to go because you're, you know, you outgrew the system. And kind of like the foster system here. I mean, once you turn 16, you're no longer in the foster system, which is crazy because there are a lot of kids who have late birthdays and are still 17, 18 years old before they graduate high school. So, you know, not too keen on that, but, you know, I'm hoping most people, but, you know, unfortunately, people do it for money. So, when my grandfather, you know, was 14, and let me ink around the edges, and they gave him his little suitcase, his shoes he had, and his little hat. And he was like, well, how much money do I have? Because, you know, he thought he was going to have like $20, $25. You know, back in the day, that was a lot of money. And, because like I said, he was born, let's see, 1918. And, so this was, you know, way back when, you know, when you used to could get a loaf of bread for a nickel, my Nana used to say. and rent for an apartment was $5 a month. And my grandpa, you know, I mean, he would work, you know, when he got into his retail job, he'd only make $18 a week. And that was, you know, big time back then. So, kind of liking it up here. But anyway, so he leaves and he's, you know, going out of the orphanage, out into the real world with no experience, no place to live, no nothing. And they said, oh, well, you have $2 in your account. And my grandpa was like, well, how could I have $2? I've been here, you know, all my life. And they said, well, your mom, the one who dropped him off, didn't want him, came back and collected his money, knowing doggone good and well he was getting ready to, you know, be, I guess, aged out, as you know, you want to call it. So that poor man left with his little clothes, his $2, and that was it. And so, I mean, no experience, no nothing, because all you do is work there at the orphanage and do, you know, wherever they send you and do your little stuff there. You know, I wish I would have had him write some stuff down, or I wish I would have written some of their stories down, because they've got some stories. And so he, you know, goes and he finds a job as a janitor in a big old high school up there in New York. And, you know, when you see these movies and people live in the boiler room on a little cot and stuff, that's exactly what my grandpa did. He lived in a boiler room of a school and was a janitor for years until he was able to work his way out of that and find a job in, it was called, I call it Fisherman's Wharf, but that's not what it is. It's called Fishman's. It was a huge retail chain up in the northern areas, and he got a job in the packing department there. I guess when merchandises would come in, they would unpack it and then get it, and then repack it to go off to their other stores that they had in their area. And so, he worked his way up from packing, and then, years and years, because that was the only job that he had for, gosh, like 30-ish years, and made his way up to an assistant manager, and then, was a store manager, and so that was kind of his thing. And then I have him, he met my grandma there. She was a cashier, and, it was a big no-no to date employees, because especially since he was her superior, her boss and everything, they weren't supposed to date. Well, obviously that was love, and so they decided they were going to start seeing each other. So they would get on buses and would ride this bus for like an hour, hour and a half. 2 different buses. They would ride these buses and meet up at the next town over. And they would have an ice cream, because that's kind of all the time they had, and they have to get back on the bus and go back to, their town up there in like Syracuse, New York. And so, and then they would, go to work, and everybody kind of knew, Everett and Irene, kissing in the tree, da da da. So they got found out that, they were dating, so they transferred my grandpa to another store and left my grandma there at that store. She was a cashier, and made all of, I think Nana says she made like 25 cents an hour. And so she worked there. Well, that Labor Day, my grandfather mailed her something in the mail. So when she opened the envelope, it was her engagement ring. He asked her to marry her via the mail with a diamond ring. I mean, hello. You can't do that nowadays. I don't know, I guess you could. But so she said yes, of course. And then for Christmas, he mailed her suitcase, some luggage, so that way she could, I think those words are upside down. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. So he mailed her some luggage so she could pack her stuff and move to where he had been transferred to. And so then they were going to get married. And this is whenever Gone in the Wind came out, because that was like the first movie they ever went to. And they were trying to get their marriage license. And they had to wait, because, back then you had to do the blood test and all that stuff. So they had to wait. And so they went to watch Gone with the Wind while they were waiting for their paperwork and stuff. And so my Nana would always quote, that Scarlett, I don't give a bleep. And so it was always so funny. But that was like their little thing, and they got married. And then my grandma, she was 5. Her and her sister, her mother had died. She had got the flu and had complications of the flu, back in the day. And she passed away. And her dad was, a no-good drunk. And he was behind on his rent. And so her and her older sister, because there was her, and then he had 2 girls from a previous marriage that he pretty much had stolen from his wife when they were in England, and came over to the United States. And because my Nana's mom, my great grandma, she was apparently of blue blood, and chose this man over, their family, and came over to America. And just, nothing panned out for her. And so, she passed away. Well, then the people, the landlords that they rented from, since her dad was behind on rent, called the child services place because, you know, the girls were there alone. But like I said, my Nana was 5, and I think her sister was, let me see, she was 14, maybe 11. And they came and took them away. And my Nana says she remembers being behind the radiator crying, "Don't take me, don't take me," because her dad had, someone had told her dad that, you know, the state was coming, and he took his other kids who were older than them, and some, you know, made it back to England, and she never heard any more from her dad or anything after that. So that, you know, they put them in foster homes, and, you know, they don't put family together in foster homes, which, you know, that was something I always wanted to do, was to be a foster home for families, because, you know, I don't think they should be split up, and I think they should have a shot at being together and stay together, and they do much better if they are together. But anyway, so they split them up, and my Nana went, oh, she had some horrible, horrible, horrible places that she would live in, and they, I mean, to the day my grandmother passed away, she would not eat oatmeal for nothing, because for all her childhood years, you know, you had to do all the work. I mean, these people would have 5 and 6 foster kids, and these kids would have to go out, you know, and like clean the barn, and, you know, all the horrible, nasty jobs that nobody, you know, no one there wants to do. And then all their, you know, their people and their regular children would be sitting down having eggs and bacon and stuff. And then over in the corner, the foster kids would have their table, and they would have oatmeal. Well, the oatmeal was cold because that, you know, this one woman that they lived at, you know, they would make it before you went out to do your chores. And when you came back, you ate it, whether it was hot or cold, and you did not eat it, because, you know, you'd be in trouble. And I mean, my Nana was locked in the closet, and once for doing something, and she had a little baby doll, and that's when they had, like, the hair was, you know, plugged in there in the hair, and so she was so afraid of being in the closet, she pulled the baby doll's hair out, and she was just like 7 or 8. I mean, she was just a little girl. And I'm sorry, if you knew my Nana, even as a child, you know that woman just was not a troublemaker or anything, because she was just one of those angels on earth type souls that people gravitated to, and everybody loved her, and she was just one of those people. So yeah, so she, you know, she was raised in lots of foster homes, because after a certain while, you would be moved on to another place. I don't know, I guess the people got tired of you, or I don't know. But she, you know, had quite a few horrible homes that she lived in. And but, you know, her best one that she lived in, she actually got to call them. And this lady actually, you know, treated her like a daughter. And you know, she didn't get abused or any of the other stuff that happened to her when she was younger at other places. And because I would always ask her, I'm like, well, Nana, you know, I said, surely, you know, stupid me, I'm like, surely they would come by and check on you and make sure that y'all are okay and that nothing was going on. And she's like, well, yeah, she said, but you didn't dare, you know, tell them that something, you know, was going on. And I'm like, but why? And I said, you know, they were abusing y'all and just, you know, treating them horribly and stuff. And she says, oh, I'm going to put that whole thing on there. She says, you just didn't do that. She said, because you knew you would be in trouble. Because, you know, I'm thinking, oh, they would just pull you aside and go, is everything okay? And, or they could surely see from, you know, just the fear in your eyes that this is not a good home. But they didn't care. They just really didn't care. They just, you know, did their paperwork and moved on. And, you know, like she said, that they would get a pair of shoes a year, 2 nice dresses a year, and 1 pair of whatevers, you know, as far as your whatever dress. And oh, it's not going to work for me. See, running my mouth. Can't even tell the story. And so she just, you know, grew up just appreciating everything that she had. Same thing with my grandpa. And then they got to where, you know, they had money and stuff because they worked real hard and, you know, bought homes, had rentals, and just was smart. My grandfather didn't even graduate high school until he was older because he ran for justice of the peace and you had to have a GED. And I remember when I was like, oh, I don't know, 9 or 10, that my grandpa got his GED, and that was just such a big thing. And you didn't, you know, when you're a child, you just don't realize how important it was to get your GED when you didn't have the opportunity of going to school. And you just kind of take it for granted and think that, you know, everybody has the same shot and same chance, but they really don't. And I mean, we definitely take everything that we have and do for granted. It's life is so easy for us now. It was definitely a different world back then. But yeah, I just thought that was so sweet. You know, just how hard of a life that they had. That they end up working together at this store, which, you know, granted the store goes bankrupt, and all the people lost all of their retirement benefits and stuff like that. So, you know, they had to start all over. But luckily my grandpa was, I mean, if I would have listened to him, oh my God, if I would have just listened to him 1% of the time, okay, I probably listened 1%, but 10%, if I'd have listened to that man 10%, oh, I would have been such a smarter person. But, I mean, you know, he saved his money and invested in, you know, and knew that, you know, you had to save your money. You didn't spend frivolously and all that good stuff. And so, you know, they, like I said, he opened a store, they bought some properties, and then he just spoiled the mess out of everybody, all of his grandkids and stuff. And yes, I was the first one, so I was my Nana's favorite. There's a few more, but I was her favorite. And I know it. Everybody else knows it too, because I was the oldest, and I was around way longer than anybody else. And my grandma, you know, pretty much raised me most of the time and babysat me. And she, you know, watched my daughter a lot for me when I had her. And so, you know, my daughter is, you know, real special to my grandma too, because we were always over there. And even after we went our ways, and I got older and, you know, married and moved, you know, we still, I mean, you know, my Nana and my grandpa, that was my mom and dad. And so, but yeah, you couldn't ask for any better people. So I just wish we could all live to be 200, because I sure wish my grandparents were around. You know, I don't even know if I like that down there, but we're going to put a sticker and all that good stuff. So the whole point is we're supposed to be making a journal card and not just, you know, do anything else. So here's my other one, and I'm at, ooh, Lord, 38 minutes, so I got to stop. All right, so see, 38 minutes to make 2 scrap things, because running my mouth and being picking and choosing on scraps. But anyway, that's my little collage with me day, and I will decorate them off camera after they dry, and I will show you what I got. Okay? See y'all later. Thanks. Bye.